Hey, there we are. Welcome everyone to Heretical Weekends number 44. We're back from a long vacation with my buddies here, Turtle and Turtle 2080th. I don't quite remember if it's the 2080 or 2080th, but and of course, Gavagai. How are you beautiful bastards doing?
Beautiful.
I was gonna say beautiful too.
How's the pickleball?
It's unfortunately there will be no pickleball for my crew tonight because of stupid youth basketball. One of those kids need basketball courts.
That's dumb.
Fucking kids are so needy with their fucking activities and their shelter and food.
For real.
Can't their parents just sit them in front of a TV and let them watch TV or play video games or something?
Yeah, and one of the guys said his buddy couldn't make it because his wife just had a baby. It was like, well, I don't care about that.
Baby, newborn, fuck that. Fuck that codependent little baby.
What does that have to do with anything?
Fuck that. It's an atheist baby, by the way, because
yeah. Oh, man, you were gonna get hate mail.
I hope so.
From atheists and theists both.
I would love to get hate mail, actually, because I'm that kind of guy that would answer every single one if I could. So what you guys?
So send in your hate mail to Mischievous Heathen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Send me the fucking hate. I love it. So what'd you guys do? I know
Mischievous Heathen at
God damn it.
Heretical Weekends.
You bastards. So, anybody else have any sort of family, awkward family conversations this holiday season?
No, I didn't anyway. I don't know if you did, Gavagai. Gavagai was in my part of the country for a couple days, but...
Did you get to see him? Because he came out here and he fucking flaked on me. So
no, I got to see him.
Hey, it was a two-way flake.
How was it a two-way flake?
I told you when I was going to be there, and I was like packing to leave, and you're like, "Hey, you're going to be in here when is that happening?" Or I was already like home or something. So
that's so not true.
You didn't mark your calendar.
I did, because I even told my friend, I was like, "Yeah, I may actually hang out or have lunch with one of the guys from our little show here," and everyone's like, "Cool." And then I was like, "Hey, did you come? Like the days you were coming out, you said that you were gonna let me know when you were in town at some point, and you never did." So that's why I was like, "Are we still doing lunch or whatever?" And you go, "I already left." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
yeah. Well, I was playing a lot of pickleball.
Yeah, I can see how that could take a lot out of somebody.
Well, and I was there for a work conference too, so
I am more important than your work.
Well,
I make the world go round.
I want to go back to that same conference this year, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. So I would love to, and I've been toying with the idea of just flying out there, just to vacation out there and
by yourself or with the family.
I would like to bring my wife.
I would love to meet your wife.
Yeah.
I'm perpetually the one friend that never gets to meet the wife right away, and there's always some disclaimer in front where you go, you're gonna meet my friend Lee. Sometimes he says some shit. Don't take him seriously. He's just like that. Like everybody I've ever known has some sort of primer for like their spouse.
Yeah, that is very similar to the disclosure that I was going to read off to her before we
right, exactly.
flew out there.
He may make many references to his penis. Don't worry about it. He's not trying to be crude. That's just how he is. So, but they make it sound like I'm the old Kool-Aid man. I'm just gonna bust through a wall and go, dick and vagina, like just yell random shit. It's like, I'm not that guy.
I don't remember the Kool-Aid man saying that. That's weird. I guess I am the youngest of this group, so maybe it was before I was watching, cartoons and whatnot on Saturday morning.
Yeah,
the original Kool-Aid man.
The Kool-Aid, he was naked.
That's true. That's true. So Gabby Guy, did you have any awkward conversations? I didn't. Besides this one.
Besides this one?
No, I actually didn't. I toyed with the idea of asking our father if it was okay to have one awkward conversation per visit, but I didn't go there. We didn't have time
and record it. Dad, do you mind if we record this conversation
for posterity?
And then you send me the file, and then we play it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be cool.
He may make a frowny face at that.
I've been also toying with the idea of doing some, or going out and trying to do some street epistemology. I don't. You familiar with this, Lee? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, you already said your name, Mr. Heathen, anyway. So
yeah.
When today?
Yeah. When you're talking about the disclosure, you said your own name. So.
Oh, well, yeah. It doesn't matter. No one's gonna come knocking on my door.
Well, you would welcome that anyway, from what I understand.
Yes. If any Christians want to come find me and knock on my door and preach to me, I would appreciate that.
And hand you hate mail.
Leave a burning sack of
crosses.
So over the course, because I don't really celebrate Christmas unless I have to. So, and like all my family is far away. And so we got to the point where it's just like a phone call now. And it's like, hey, what's up, dude? Merry Christmas. Cool. Okay, bye. Boom. And like, we're done. So we didn't get really a chance to visit or anything. And I don't really send gifts to anybody. So I'm kind of an asshole that way. But what I have been doing is I've been so obsessively attached to this fucking Scientology TV show on A&E. I know that we were going to talk about this a couple of weeks ago when the show was just premiering, and they're on episode 6, and they're going on episode 7 this week. I am fucking hooked on this show, like
you're
crack
welcome.
whore on crack. I'm telling you. Have any of you guys seen it or?
Yeah.
I saw the first episode.
I'm the one who showed it to you guys.
Right, but did you see all the episodes?
Yeah, I've been following it as well.
I haven't kept up with it.
Okay.
But I did watch the first episode.
The first episode is essentially a format. That format is kind of shared throughout the episodes where she interviews basically a different person every week that has been in Scientology, and it's many of the same people that we saw in that other documentary. And she actually drives around with one of the dudes that was a high-ranking guy that used to
Mike Rinder.
Yeah, he used to do all the propaganda against people that were against the church or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in charge of some other stuff too. And so they kind of go around, and it's kind of fascinating because as they're driving around doing these things, different locations, right? Like they're being followed. They got private investigators like watching them and stuff, and they're pointing them out, and it's really kind of cool. But
in a horrifying way.
Yeah, I am fascinated by this show. I don't know why. Like, it's.
Well, I find it fascinating just because it's interesting to be able to see people who have been so indoctrinated into a way of thinking, and then plucking them out of that way of thinking, and then kind of they're in the real world for a while, and then they can look back,
reflect on it. Yeah.
Right, and that's what's the most interesting thing for me, and I think it's insightful, just in general. But I mean, the thing I appreciate about the show is that fact that they show us this, and I feel like there's a lot of people who will watch this show and just be thinking, wow, what a bunch of lunatics who can believe all of this stuff. And I think the thing that you should take away from this show is that we're all capable of buying into this kind of a thing. None of us are special. None of us.
I'm special.
Well, other than you, obviously. But none of us are. The difference between us and a Scientologist is, for the most part, just our circumstances. And a lot of the Scientologists that are around today are, as they say in the show, like second or third generation Scientologists, just like, most Christians are not original Christians. They're raised in it and indoctrinated in it, and it's the same kind of mental thing. Obviously, it's more extreme in Scientology, just the way they go about it, and it's interesting too because it really does seem like it's unsustainable Scientology, and they talk a little bit about this on the show, but just their whole policy of disconnection just seems like a terminal rule to have your cult follow, where you just constantly severing off parts of the body. And I think that's one thing that Christianity and these other religions have over something like Scientology is they're not like constantly breaking off pieces of itself.
Yeah, it's more like it's to protect the infrastructure. That is, you can't have, if the fact that you have
but it's
to,
like it's like an onion though, where it's like you keep on pulling off, like each time you pull off a layer that exposes another layer. So this person X gets disconnected, and then the layer that's now exposed, that's on the edge of that person, is more likely to then start doubting, start not believing everything, just because they know that person, they want to talk to that person, and now they're that's not happening for them. And so it just creates this scenario where each time you do that, you're pulling off a layer, and then eventually it's going to whittle down to the end. But
yeah, a couple of things that are pretty fascinating about the show, and I've literally had this conversation half a dozen times, and I think I had mentioned it in the past, but I live like 2 blocks from the Orange County Scientology building, like the main one in Orange County, California.
Isn't it like the world headquarters for it too, or
no, that's the one in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
There's the big blue building they show, that's off Sunset or in Hollywood, like in that area. And then and if you go up like maybe a quarter of a mile into a city called Las Feliz, there's the Celebrity Center, and it's right across the street from like an improv comedy club and like a bunch of like cool restaurants and stuff. And then like looming right on the opposite side of the street is like the Celebrity Center. But the reason I bring it up is because in the last episode they had mentioned that they are opening up. They literally have to open up these different churches, or
facilities.
Because they have to keep expanding, even though there's nobody in them. You know what I mean? Because like to keep up with the certain criteria they got to follow, I think, right?
Well, it's because they're like a non-profit organization, so they have to keep on spending this money on things for because they keep on getting money in.
Yeah,
and then they have to find a way to spend this money on the organization, and so they keep on buying property and then building facilities on that property.
Right.
Even though they aren't putting people in those buildings.
Right. So I have had a conversation with several people where I live, and where I go, wow, dude, I have never seen any fucking buddy come out of that building at all. Like, I never seen anybody in it. I never seen anybody working, like at the front desk. The bottom floor is all windows, so it looks very much like the beginning of the show, where they show clips of like the books and there are people buying books and stuff, and there's promotional posters and everything. It looks like the lobby of like a nice hotel, but no one's ever in it. And I was like, holy shit, I have that like next to my house, like I experienced that. And occasionally, once in a while, they used to be out here a lot, like handing out pamphlets and stuff, and to go see their free movie or whatever, quote unquote. But they don't do that much anymore. I think they just kind of went away. And it's kind of jarring to have it so close to your house, to be honest with you. But
and to realize these things have gone on so near to you.
Yeah, it's kind of freakish in a way, because like it sounds weird, but I don't know, they walk around like normal people, I guess. But You know, I don't know how else to say it, but then like, you know, then you talk to them for like a hot second, and they're like, and they hand you this little like flyer thing, and it's like, yeah, you should come by, and I'm like, yeah, go fuck yourself, and I go away. But they're standing out here, and this is a very, where I live is very high population of Hispanics, and so they stand out, like, you know, because they're dressed in suits and stuff like that, you know. So it's like, but that fascinated me, that they had to keep spending this money. It's fucking amazing. And I don't know. I learned something new about Scientology like every time I watch that show.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it kind of like there's definitely a lot of crossover between the episodes, just because a lot of it does have to do with disconnection in particular. But yeah, there's been a couple of times where I, you know, started like tearing up or whatever, just because it's sad to watch people do this to themselves, you know, right. And to do horrible things to each other because they think ultimately it's the right thing to do in the long run. And it's hard to see what the best strategy is for breaking people out of that mindset. But I mean, obviously, like I said, I think Scientology has within its DNA the seeds of its own destruction. But it's unfortunate that it's going to take a lot of pain and suffering to get to like the breaking point. And it'll be interesting to see what effect, if any. I mean, I think there is some effect. There will be some effect that this TV show is going to have. But I mean, the part of the problem is that, and they get into this in the TV show, or if you've seen the Going Clear documentary on HBO, is that they have such a tight hold on what people are allowed to look at. So I'm sure that Scientologists are not going to be watching this show. I mean, right. This is about
that's a very typical cult practice that you would have such, you know, strict hold on what you allow people to get exposure to, and shelter them from anything that could cause them to doubt or start to question or to fact check some of the things that are, you know, being said.
Right. Yeah, I guarantee you someone's watching this show. But
you mean Scientologists, or?
Yes, because anything that is going to bring any sort of criticism, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure they're gonna try to get some dirt on that person, follow them around with a camera at some point.
Well, that brings up another interesting point, which is like, especially these people who are involved in that aspect of this cult or organization or whatever. Like, it's interesting to think about what their mindset is, because can they really be true believers in this thing if they themselves are? I mean, it's easy to see, like, the average individual doesn't expose themselves to criticism of Scientology, and they're just kind of following the leader and doing what they think is right. But the people who are actually involved in like twisting the facts to the extent that this church does, and like concocting stories about people, like, it's hard to see how those people could still sincerely believe and are not just being purely manipulative.
Yeah. The guy, I've gone to that webpage that there's a link at the beginning of the show where it says, you know, the church Scientology, you know, takes issue or what it doesn't agree with what's being said, or they dispute it. And A&E gives the link to the page where it's their like, it's their like propaganda page that's against the person that's on the show. You know what I mean? Like all the people, and it's like, this person was a thief and a pedophile, and you know, and it's like tries to drag them through the mud. Although I don't want to gloss over the fact that you almost cried, because that, to me, you should record that if you're going to do that. If you're gonna cry, can you just record that so we can listen in next time?
Yeah.
We'll get so many views. Turtle 2080 cries.
Well, there's two instances that I can think of that I found were very emotional. The one is from a couple episodes ago when Tom DeVocht, who is in the Going Clear documentary as well. But there's just this moment where he's talking about all this time and energy he spent in this organization, and like you can he gets about halfway through the sentence, and you see this realization of all this life that he's wasted, and he just stops like mid sentence and like has this kind of like hard swallow or whatever, and then just like can't finish the sentence, and it's just like.
And that made you cry?
No, nothing made me cry, but like. But that was a profound moment for, I'm sure he's realized it before, but just
right.
to see him have this strong emotional reaction to like this realization.
Can I take a guess what the other one is?
Sure.
Because if there was one that's going to hit you right in the freaking feels, is last week's episode with the twin brothers.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that what you're talking about? Oh, that was rough when he starts. For those who haven't watched the show, basically, spoiler alert, but Leah Remini interviews a guy who he had a twin brother who was in Scientology, and eventually, he left or whatever, and essentially before they had a chance to like reconcile or whatever, he died in a car accident, and that guy just fucking loses it, dude. It's hard to watch someone like that's his twin, so it's kind of it's kind of like a weird situation. Then he goes to the funeral and like the guy's widow, looks and sees his face, and he hadn't met any of his friends, and he goes,
any of his brother's friends.
Yeah, his brother's friends, and like he's like that's like they saw ghosts because it's his face, like walking in. So that one was rough.
Yeah.
That one was rough. That was a good episode. I love that show. I really do. I think it comes on on Mondays or Tuesdays or something. So I got to keep an eye out for it. But it's one other thing that I wanted to touch on real quick was when we did our Scientology show. I'm not sure if any of us posed this question, but it was brought up on the series, is that they claim to do all these things for people. But I don't know. I've never read anything in the news that said Scientology's built an orphanage in Mexico or so. You know what I mean? It's like, and so they got this episode where this guy is like in charge of their essentially their propaganda machine as far as like making all the videos and the promotional stuff. And he was like, it's bullshit,
Would they say, and I don't know exactly, and I haven't watched as much of this as you guys have, but I mean, it would seem like their thinking is that by going through what do they call their process where the person is
going over the bridge or whatever,
well, where they're doing all of the like
auditing,
that's the thing. Like, so through personal auditing, like if every person in the world would go through this auditing, that everybody would get along and be peaceful, and the world would be changed because of the auditing.
Yeah, I think the phrase that their ultimate goal is something like clearing the world, as in everybody goes clear in the world, something like that. Everybody gets rid of their what is the word? Reactive mind, whatever. But
yeah.
But I mean, so like they touched and that's where they brought up this, like, where they're buying property. So they would exaggerate to the point of lying on things. So they'll say something like, Scientology is the fastest growing religion in the world, and the way they make that work is by like property. Like they generate the most. So like if you were to question that, that's what they would point at. Oh, here is how we are the fastest growing religion is because we are buying all this property, and look how much real estate we have gathered over this X amount of time. No other religion can claim that. So it's stuff like that.
Like our electoral college.
Right. Yeah. Based on land.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty twisted kind of thing. Anyone else, every time they show a picture of David Miscavige, don't you just want to like punch that guy in the face? Like he
does look very punchable.
You know what I mean? And every time they show him on a picture on a still, he looks like a James Bond villain to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has that look about him, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting though, like, because it's interesting because I think it has a lot to do with our perspective, because
sure.
You listen to these people talk about, like, when they were in Scientology, even people who were literally being physically abused by him, most of them still look at him as like, oh, he's the good guy. Right. I fucked up. I did something wrong, and he is upset with me because I screwed up. I mean, and that's another one of the most. And Christianity has it too, but it's not as severe, in my opinion, at least right. From what I can tell from this television show. But of just blaming the person is always at fault. Everything, and they say this on the show. Everything that goes right in your life is Scientology, and everything that goes wrong, it's your fault. And Christianity is the same way. And yeah, I think all religions probably are, but.
Yeah, but your local pastor isn't beating you up or whatever, the Pope
right.
or whatever. Like
right.
But even then, like
most of the time, let's say.
Most of the time.
But I mean, you have, Christianity's got all kinds of bad things going on. I mean, like Catholic Church and pedophile priests. So I mean, they make the kids feel like it's their fault too. So I mean, and obviously not every Christian church is guilty of that, but
like I know here's something I don't know, maybe you guys know. So when somebody escapes and they try to go get you, and one of the episodes had a story of people that escaped from the place in Hemet, and one guy got in a motorcycle, and he like took off, and he tried to get his wife to come, but she didn't get his message in time or something along those lines, and they like ran him off the road, and they're like, no, you're coming with us. And it's like, I don't even understand. Even if they wanted to, right? If they physically grab you, they can't physically grab you and like bring you back, right? Like I don't understand. I mean, they could try to bully you and intimidate you into going back, but is it at that point, like you said, it's like a force of will kind of thing, where it's like, maybe the person that's trying to escape is the problem, and so what you need is more auditing. Come back. You must come. Like, how are they going to stop you? Really?
Well, I think they would pick you up. Legally, can they do that? No. But will they be able to get away with it? Yes, because most of the time, those people who they're trying to bring back are still under the mindset that even though they don't like being in this organization anymore, that they're still accountable to it,
Right.
So I mean, because I think it was in that episode, like, I can't remember because there's several stories about people escaping, but like if they're like in a crowded public place or whatever, like the people who are pursuing will back off if you make it clear that you don't want to go with them. But also here's a little tip: if you join an organization and you're a member of an organization, and your organization is frequently concerned about people escaping, then maybe that organization might have some problems that you should look into.
Right.
If you're often worried about people literally escaping your organization, maybe not the greatest organization.
Yeah, at least Christianity would say you were never a Christian to begin with, and like and then you go away, and it's like it's done. They're not chasing you down the freeway in a van, trying to like run you off the road. So
I mean, it would be it would be interesting to jump into a parallel universe or just look at it and see if Christianity wasn't as dominant as it is today, how different it would be. Would Christianity like rely on some of these tactics? I mean, yeah, they generally don't get too. I mean, obviously your immediate family and friends get upset when you defect, but they don't typically go to the extent that Scientology does to keep people involved in it. So it'd be interesting to see it in another universe. But I was going to say, because I think that's the case because Christianity is so dominant. But it would be interesting to see it in another universe where Christianity was more in line with like what Scientology is in terms of size and respectability. If they were more what's the word I'm looking for? Just trying to keep people in, I guess. But
yeah, well, I mean, they in the Middle Ages and things, they kind of chased after heretics and set them on fire and things like that. So there have been times when they were even more extreme than the Scientologists as far as keeping people in and keeping them from saying or spreading.
Yeah, it's a little different with heretics though, because I mean, in the case of heretics, it's a situation where both the heretic, the quote unquote heretic, and the orthodox person, quote unquote, is they're both believing in some sort of voodoo magic. It's just a different flavor of voodoo magic, and they can't get along. It's not exactly the case of I'm leaving your voodoo magic belief altogether. But
they did have some like non-believers stand trial and face the Inquisition and things like that too. There were a lot fewer at that time.
Because everybody believed in voodoo magic pretty much.
Yeah.
But, yeah. This is a bit of a segue, I guess, into something we hadn't, and maybe it's just a quick discussion, but every time I watch the Scientology show and they talk about you're not allowed to believe anything different, or they shelter people, and it's not exactly the same. So, but I can't stop thinking about the parallels between that Scientology mindset of I only believe the things that I'm fed, and I don't believe things that counter that. But with the mindset of today's conservative, in the U.S. at least, the conservative voters, who every time I'm on Facebook or whatever, and Gavagai, you post a lot of political stuff, and you
I do.
You do, and you get and I watch some of your arguments between people, and like it's every single time, and not just your posts, but the conservative person will say something to the effect of the media is biased and is lying or exaggerating, and I think that's a real big problem for us right now. I think the conservative movement wing of our country has done such a good job of convincing their people that
what's being portrayed in the media is not even true.
Right, is not believable.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem, because how do you fight that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit different from the Scientology, because in Scientology they're shielding these people from it, and it's almost a more powerful tool that the conservatives have created, where they don't even have to really shield people from it. They can just lay out this blanket statement where it's like, yeah, go ahead and look at it, just ignore it, because it's all anything that counters what you already believe is false.
Right.
And it's a real problem.
Well, but it's not okay. So We have a friend who is a psychiatrist, or maybe he's just a psychologist. I think he's just like a psychology therapist kind of guy. But he deals with a lot of people on Facebook, similar to the way I do. But he posted, I think it was just this morning, and my wife was reading his post about the rise of fake news, and the kind of also the rise of the awareness of fake news in social media and things. And he pointed out, and I think this is probably accurate, that it cuts both ways. Now, maybe we could say that there's a tendency more on the conservative side, and I hope that that's true, to be biased against anything that disagrees with what you already believe or want to believe about some said any given event or statement from people that you care about or whatever in the public sphere. But he was saying that in his experience, conservatives and liberals both would label anything that they disagreed with as fake news and just dismiss it that way, even from news sources that were legitimate. And there's a difference between something there may be inserted like editorial bias in the language as information is being presented, where they're using adjectives that have a slant one way or another, and that exists. But the existence of editorializing within a news article doesn't mean that the facts that are presented there are not true, and we need to be aware both that fake news exists and that real news exists, and be able to discern between them.
Yeah, but I mean, that's true. It's just frustrating because it's been a very long time that the right has been basically saying, I mean, you have the right has been saying basically like mainstream news sources have been fake news for more than a decade at this point. And it's
true. Yeah.
It's the other thing too is yes, there is on both sides a desire to go to news sources that support your own side, but I think I don't see people on the other side who are having this same discussion. Like I don't see people who on the other side will say, yeah, it's both of us. And I think that's part of the problem is you do have people on the liberal side who will just lock into whatever goes with what they believe, and you have the same thing on the other side. But I don't see people on the Republican side who are doing what we're doing and acknowledging that there's a problem.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. Yeah, and it's funny too. Just this morning, I I came across a post from our old pal, or my old pal, Jay Wing, and
I thought you were going to say Trey Jadlow.
No, well, I've got another thing from Trey later, but this one was from Jay Wing, and the headline was Obama apologizes to ISIS for comments by Trump. And
I thought I saw that.
Yeah, and and the source is, I kid you not, Jew News. It's not news unless it's Jew News.
That sounds a lot like Jew Knows, to be honest with you. But
and if you scroll down on the thing, it specifically says, where is it? It says that it's a parody or satire. So, but he posted it and thought that it was real. So yeah, it's a problem, and now he's got this in the back of his head. Well, I challenged him, and someone else that I've not encountered before posted something on there, saying, well, hey, that's satire. It says so on the post.
Right. Like he's literally posting an Onion article as like fact in a way.
Right. Yeah. So,
did he respond to that?
No. He says, the person said, this is satire. Click here and scroll to the bottom of the page. And I said, apparently Jay Wing thinks Obama actually apologized to ISIS because internet told him so. And Jay Wing said, apparently Gavagai can't even read the internet reports real people working for the Obama administration. He's referring to the article. Apologized to ISIS for Trump. And this other G+ person said, Jay Wing, this particular story is satire. If you have another example from a credible source or video, let's see it. And there was no reply. So
what you're saying in a roundabout way is that he's kind of an idiot.
He is. Yeah.
You could just say it. We're all friends here.
Right. Well, but it's a particular kind of idiocy on this particular post. So I wanted to deal with that specific.
I see things
overall.
Sometimes I see things come up sometimes that seem a little too good to be true, or a little too on the nose. And so even though I open up the article, the first thing I do is scan it to see if it's a credible news source. Is it a blog? Is it an opinion piece? Is it a satirical, web page?
Are there any other web sources that are
credible
that are
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I always do that because I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I don't want to be Jay Wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I mean, I think this situation that we find ourselves in is an unfortunate situation that I guess was inevitable, but just that with the internet, I mean, I've always looked at the internet as, obviously there's problems, where people are jerks on the internet. It's a well-established fact. But I've
There's one of those in this room now.
Don't talk about Turtle like that.
Yeah, come on. But my long view has always been the internet is ultimately a good thing because it forces us all together, and eventually the truth will win out. But it's a little bit harder to see that right now because it's really, really easy to say things that are false.
Well, it's kind of like
it's hard to double check whether or not the things you're reading or seeing are true, and that's a pretty giant roadblock.
Yeah, it's kind of like, let's say you have like 5 buddies, and none of you guys use condoms, and then one of your buddies gets an STD, and all the rest of the group's like, oh fuck, now I'm using condoms. Like in some indirect way, it helps. You know what I mean? Like it's good. Like there has to be some bad to bring the good out, right? Like.
Yeah, the problem is
interesting example.
The problem is I don't think we have a condom. The condom hasn't been invented.
It's a metaphor,
yet.
Man.
It's a beautiful metaphor. Thank you. But yeah, I think the problem is we don't have a condom right now. It hasn't been invented yet. So right now we're just trying to figure out, like, we're just all getting STDs.
Which one of the prostitutes is infected?
Right. Yeah. Or which ones aren't.
Right.
Right. And then you got guys that you repeat to. You go, hey, that's a fake news source. That's a fake news source, or not credible. And they keep going. Like, we're probably going to segue here into whatever Trey Jadlow sent you, but Trey Jadlow is pretty infamous for he's posts these articles that are either completely biased or they completely lie, but they're all within his framework of what he thinks is already correct.
Right.
And he posts that shit all the time as like it's fucking gospel. Like, he's been, before he blocked me, we would point that shit out all the time. It's like conservative Republican news, the Christian source for news, that kind of thing. And they go, and there'll be some article about Planned Parenthood is, the abortion thing. And it's like, really? Like, this is the source you're going with? It's like, did you look anywhere else, perhaps? But, I think like Trey's like a lot of people, as long as it confirms their bias, then they're okay with it. They double down on the stupid, as I always say. So what did that fucker send you? Oh, by the way, fuck Arcane Logos too. But what the fuck did Trey Dadlow send you?
So Trey sent me, and I'll go ahead and screen share. I won't play the video, but this is poor.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He's gone through some rough times.
Yeah. This is RC
Holy
Sproul.
shit!
Yeah, he's got this oxygen tank now apparently. So, and
I whiteboxed you.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, so it was a video of RC Sproul giving commentary from, and I guess it was like a devotional for some ministry organization or whatever. But it was this a lot of the same kind of shtick that Trey goes through all the time. Shocking, but he was talking about. It sounded almost like a conspiracy that academics were shifting toward secularism and secular ideas and things like that throughout the 20th century and even before that, yada yada. And then a lot of his arguments were basically arguments from undesirable consequences. He was saying, well, and if all of these things are true, and if evolution is true, and if blah blah blah, well then there's no purpose. And I think that really resonates with Trey, or it seems to. And I messaged him and said, well, what is in your view, what is the main point of what he's talking about here? And Trey never responded.
Isn't that just one big argument from consequences anyway? Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's all it was. So so there must be a God because we don't like there to not be a purpose. And if the other thing that Trey always does is that if you think that you do have a purpose, or you do have desires, or how does he say it, like that existence is special, which what does that even mean? And
but I got something to okay, yeah.
But anyways, he says, well then that means that it could only come from a being that created that or whatever. So
yeah, I shut Trey up in one of his own threads on Facebook again, which is pretty funny. So one of the guys, a couple of the guys that I had interviewed that had a conversation with Trey, on my Heretical interviews, go check it out. But I'm friends with them on Facebook now, so when they post, I'm not friends with Trey, obviously, but I don't think he would accept it anyway. But like, I wouldn't want to be friends with that guy. But anyway, so when their stuff comes up, it comes up on my feed when they post, and so that specialness thing came up. It was the article he posted about Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, saying that he's supposedly. He said religion is very important now to him. He understands. Oh, did you bring it up?
Oh yeah, this is. Oh, I forgot that I was still screen sharing.
Yeah, you might not want to screen share while you're typing up stuff, buddy.
Go ahead.
I took the white box off, but. So anyway, so
what it was, I got a Facebook notification, and somebody in one of the secular groups or whatever didn't know what it meant. Somebody's post when it said that children should sign a contract never to take the mark, and they said, what does it mean, take the mark? So that's why I jumped on that, because I thought that was funny that this person had never heard of that.
I'd never heard of it either.
The mark of the beast.
Oh, that's okay. I thought you meant like some like that, like Mark is like some like gay stripper, and like you can't take the mark.
Don't take the mark. Sorry,
you had a contract.
You can't handle the rock. Anyway, so Trey's big thing was, because he always says stuff in the little comment section and sort of baits people into conversations, and he had some comment about like specialness or something or whatever. They were arguing about. Trey's argument was something to the effect of, if you feel. He feels that it's special, therefore it is special. I forgot how it went. To be honest with you, I don't want to misquote, but I know my response was, you can claim there's a specialness, but that doesn't mean because you feel it, right? Because you're that person, right? But it doesn't mean that there actually is some sort of magical specialness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wish I could. I'm like misquoting myself, so I probably sound like a moron. But.
I saw it and it was good.
Oh, you saw? Oh, it's right. You did see it. Can you clarify for me? Because I don't remember what I mean. I fucking don't even remember what I wrote. I'm trying to find it, but
yeah, I don't know that I could fish it out of my feed here.
Yeah.
It was like a week or more ago.
Wait a minute. I think I can.
In the meantime, I was just thinking, if you're having children sign contracts not to get the mark of the beast, how valuable is that contract? Like, maybe don't have children sign contracts.
Right. My comment earlier in the feed on this thing was just sarcastically, children need to be subjected to more contractual agreements. Yeah, so
that's always binding when you're a kid and you're signing a contract.
Yeah, it's from a book. It's called A Bible Book and Contract for Children.
Like, what happens?
It's called I Won't Take the Mark.
What happens if you take the mark then? Like what's the point of that contract?
You lose your allowance.
Oh. You're damned to hell eternally, and no allowance.
That's right.
You're broke ass in hell. Okay, I think this is it. So, okay,
yeah, I found them. It's a hardcover book. It's a children's book.
Good God.
You can find it on Amazon. I Won't Take the Mark. This beautifully illustrated and scripturally accurate book gently conveys the warnings of Revelation. Like, gently conveys the message that the end of the world is coming, and the Middle East will be a sea of blood. Goodness. While joyously celebrating the ultimate triumph of good over evil, guiding children to a closer relationship with Jesus. Whether at home, in church, or as part of a Bible study, each book comes with an 8x10 certificate for your child to sign, promising to worship only God and never take the mark of the beast.
What does that even mean? Take the mark.
They give you a mark. A barcode.
Like, you literally get a mark.
666 is what the people traditionally have said, although apparently there was some but
where do you go to get this mark if you chose to go that route?
The government's going to imprint them on people or tattoo them.
We've got to do an episode on Christian end times theory. We could have a special guest and bring the third eagle of the apocalypse on.
Who would that be?
Oh my God! He's the crazy guy that was featured on Colbert and stuff. He went to the Denver airport and was pointing out phalluses all over the place. Oh, are you serious? You don't know who this guy is?
No.
All right, now we've got him.
You send me links, but while you do that, so I found the article. It says I used to be an atheist like Mark Zuckerberg. I've had to rethink, and so somebody else posted. This is like 2 articles because it was posted. He posted something twice, and one of the other guys is like, well, when you have a baby, right? Like you get a big hit of like oxy something or other. That's the hormone. And I looked it up, and everything I looked up as far as parental brain changes go, a parent's brain changes in the fact that there's from what I read and the few articles that I've read, at least 6 to 8 different hormones that go on, right? So there's stuff that's released that gives you like that feeling of like elation, the hormones that increase protectiveness behaviors and that kind of thing. And then, so to me, it's completely explainable, physiologically. But in this particular article, Trey wrote, and when he posted, it says, all right, now that the non-circumspect arrogance has ameliorated a touch, can we begin a conversation? Why is existence so special? I love it when Trey tries to use like these big giant words to make himself sound smarter. But so there's a bunch of replies, and he's talking to this guy Mark, who I've spoken to, and I said, seems special doesn't necessarily mean it is special in reality. It is in reality objectively special. And then I said, if you're gonna claim that something is objectively special, you got to define what you even mean by that, by the word special.
I don't even think that means anything, because I don't think anything could be objectively special.
That's my point. That's my point.
It's completely subjective. It's
right.
It's like, oh, this is objectively delicious.
Yeah, that's what I said. You would have to define what special is. You would have to define if that's a state that's even attainable, and then you have to actually demonstrate that is necessarily the case. And then I said, responding with questions and burden shifting isn't a demonstration. And so so Mark comes on and says, hey, this guy gets it. Get to work with that burden of proof. And then Trey responds, what definition would you give to existential specialness, Lee? And then he calls me a troll. And then it's like
existential specialness.
Right. So first of all, he didn't even read what I said. I'm not going to. Trey's trick is Trey legitimately thinks that he uses the Socratic method. That's why he never gives you an answer and only asks questions. And then when you don't answer his question or play the game, he goes, "You can't do it, can you? You just can't do it." Like he tries to bait you into answering so he can just ask another question. So I already said in my previous post that, burden shifting, responding with the question isn't a demonstration. Can you demonstrate it or not? And then I reposted it. And then Mark came back on. Camille Gregor made a comment. Gavagai made a comment. And this other guy named Andy that I don't know made a comment. And you know what? Trey never responded. And the reason Trey doesn't respond, like I said before, is if you don't want to play his game, he's going to take the ball and go home. And that's just the bottom line. So for someone that claims that we can have a conversation, he's fucking horrible at it.
Yeah, well, and my comment on there was, and I didn't explicitly spell this out, but I was trying to hint at the fact that even if you could objectively say that something is special in some way, like the sky is objectively blue, I don't think that we disagree on that, that thing. You'd still have to connect the dots to say that because something is special, whatever it is, that therefore a god. I said the sky is too blue for Smurfs not to exist, was my comment, or something to that effect. Where do you get that from? We can say the sky, yeah, sure, the sky is blue. Now connect the dots to how we get to the existence of Smurfs or a god because something is too much of some properties, allegedly.
Right. Yeah, like even if you grant that by some definition, the state of special
right
is an actual thing, yeah, you still have a lot of work to do to connect that to your particular god of choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
or any god, even an abstract god.
Yeah. What right. But I mean, I know him. He's claiming it's fucking the Christian God. So,
Yahweh. Yahweh / Jesus /
But he doesn't seem to. It's funny because everyone else comes on, right, and he doesn't fucking respond, and it's like he'd rather go post and start again.
Yeah. Until we get it, heathen.
Right.
Yeah, it almost seems like because no matter who's posting what, but if there's a Christian posting some kind of argument, there's always 7-ish or more ways you can attack any specific argument, and it almost feels like every time you do that, you'll have 3 or 4 people who will take different angles, and it seems like the Christian always, like, so Gavagai takes the angle of, like, well, even if we grant that special is a objective thing, it's almost like Trey in that is going to then in his mind think, okay, he's granting me that it is special, and so, like, whatever you attack from angle 1 out of 7, and it's in his mind he's then covered those other 6 holes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And then when it comes from a different angle, then in his mind, like, he's like, okay, well, I've covered the 6 other holes, which also includes the one that Gavagai was attacking from.
Yeah.
What he'll do is, in the midst of the conversation, he would say at some point that Gavagai already conceded that point, even though, but he does that. Gavagai, tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
He does that. He goes, "Oh, you already conceded that," and even though you didn't concede jack shit, you granted for the sake of argument. But
we bracketed it.
Right,
we bracketed the first point because we may or may not have been able to get to an agreement there, but we can show there's a problem with the second point as well, or the second portion of the argument.
So that's why it almost works in a way where the more problems there are with an argument, the better it is from their standpoint, because it's like, okay, you can attack me from this angle, but then I've got it covered when I'm arguing somebody else because they're granting it to me for the sake of argument.
Well, the only problem I fucking have is he's so ridiculously fucking dishonest about what he wants out of a conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna come in and say, I wanna have a conversation and this and that, I wasn't snarky in my post. Gavagai can vouch for me. Normally I'll take a free shot.
I was actually very impressed. You did very well.
Hey, see, I can pull it together when I need to. I really wanted an answer. I was like, dude, and it's kind of funny. So Mark and I had instant message each other, the other guy on the thread and stuff, and I had showed him that post where I asked Trey, like, a long time ago, have you converted anybody with this argument? And he said, and his response was, everybody that hasn't rebutted it, and you're at the top of the heap. So, and I had to save that screenshot, because who in their right mind says, if you haven't refuted my argument, you've already been converted?
Yeah, it's. I think I can make some sense of it just from, and I haven't engaged with Trey very much, but just from, it's like he stretches the definition of words so to be so loose that that converted almost works for him in that scenario, where it doesn't matter whether or not it's actually true, but it's just kind of like he's stretching the word of converted
to what to mean something it doesn't mean.
People who in his mind can't defeat his argument. Like, it doesn't mean like, oh, I am a true believer in this.
Right, but that's what I was meaning by it. So why would he use the same word with a different meaning?
Right. Yeah, but I mean, that's his whole game, though, right? Is just taking words and stretching them to mean something that they normally don't.
And he doesn't tell anybody either.
Right.
It's like, we should just he needs a TV show. We can call him The Equivocator. 8 o'clock NBC. Like, just because that's his game, dude. But that's what I mean. But he knows that. If you ask him, right, in this particular instance, he knows what definition I'm using. Now, if he's consciously using it in a different way, to me, that's dishonest as far as a conversation, by saying, I want to converse and have an honest conversation.
I agree.
And that's one of the things that just really bugs me about him. It's like, dude, if I'll be more than happy to fucking talk to the guy. I think I'm going on record. I think he's afraid to talk to me. I'm just saying it right now, because he either avoids me or he knows that I will not sit there and just answer his questions, because it doesn't take much to pressure his argument for it to sort of like dissolve, like, upon any sort of scrutiny. You know what I mean?
Well, he does do a really good job of, because he uses such loose terms, of kind of just gliding over the holes in his arguments.
Right, but that's the thing, is people allow that to happen, right? So he used the big words.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, it's. I don't even know if people allow it to happen as much as he just forces it. I mean, his definitions are so all over the place, and he just throws them out that it's impossible to stop almost.
Let me tell you what I mean. So he'll throw out some wingy dingy words where, with wingy dingy definitions, and then at the end of it he'll go, well, do you agree with that? And so he even turns like a statement into a question.
Sure.
And so then you go, no, I don't agree with that. And then he goes, oh, so then what's special? Like then that's where you're already, as soon as you answer that question at the end of whatever statement he makes, he does it all the fucking time. It opens the door for him to start. It's almost like pre-suppers. As soon as you start answering a question, then they just keep going with it to keep you on the defensive. Right. And so I go, my viewpoint is, no, fuck that, dude. You have the burden, dude. Like, don't make me define your argument for you. You know what I mean? Like, you tell me what you mean by your argument. I mean, fuck what I mean about special. We're talking about you.
Yeah.
And what you're claiming to be true. And then that's when he just stops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I've said this before when talking about Trey, but I mean, if you're having a conversation with somebody, generally speaking, you're trying to get some ideas across to make somebody understand what you're talking about, and that's clearly not what he's trying to do. He doesn't use words in ways that other people understand them, and the only reason you would do that is to try and make it look like you're having a conversation, or make it look like you're saying smart things.
Well, see,
but ultimately, if you're really trying to get somebody to understand where you're coming from, you're going to use terms in ways that they understand them.
Right. And that's the hallmark of conversing, is conveying ideas in a way, or the exchange of ideas in a way that both parties can understand to come to, conclusions or whatever, but that's the thing. That's why I say he doesn't want to converse. He wants to win.
Right. And he's not alone in that, but yeah, it's an obnoxious tactic that he uses.
But I've talked to, here's the thing. I can have these conversations with religious people. I do it all the time in real life, right? I thought that that's what we were doing when Trey and I spoke in that one hangout, the one that he touts about every time I make a comment. He posts that video like it's some victory or something. And I was like, I keep telling him, or I keep saying every time, I thought we were just conversing, and you were telling me about your position from a meta level, like we weren't debating. So I don't know why you think that's some sort of weird victory. I don't get it. Like, why do you? does it make any sense to me? But he thinks that that's sort of like some victory that he got over me, and that he never has to communicate with me ever again. So if that's what makes your fucking dick hard, that's great. But it doesn't mean anything. It was a conversation.
Yeah, but he can present it like it's a victory, and then you have to go through the legwork of disproving him.
Well,
see,
I've given up on responding in a way where I have to defend it. I just go straight for the argument now. So it's such a non sequitur, to the issue at hand. It's like if you're talking about abortion, and then he posts my video of the fucking conversation we had about his argument. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? So I just ignore it pretty much and just stick with the subject when I can. But that's why he's a prick. That's why he's a fucking prick. And so it's like arguing with a child. So, all right, whew. I can go on about Trey forever.
It's been a while since we've talked about him, though. So
yeah.
Congratulations to us.
Well, not for me. I had 2 interviews with people about the contingency argument. So he just gets under my skin, like him and that creepy Joker smile he has just fucking gets under my skin.
Oh, and is laughing, and yeah, that's
yeah. And he only has 2 places that he ever inhabits: that dining room at his house and his workplace in his office. Like, is that?
One of the funniest things ever was Alex Botton's first conversation with him And and as Trey, jumps into the hangout with Alex, Alex said something about, oh, and here's Trey now, apparently broadcasting from some kind of spaceship.
I miss Alex.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
I miss that guy. Well, he was one of the ones that actually got me into this stuff just by watching some of his videos.
Yeah.
So I miss that guy a lot. I wonder what he's doing. Hope you're okay, Alex, if you ever listen to this. So yeah, I mean, enough about fucking Trey, dude. I'm gonna go nuts here. So I think we got 2 more things on the agenda. Gavagai, you said you want to talk about these crosses that you found. I'm not sure how long that's gonna take, but
yeah, not very long. It just was an odd thing that I came
tell
across.
us about your crosses.
Yeah, so I don't even remember exactly how I came. Oh, I think so I was looking at chess sets, and for those of you who have seen
Nerd
stuff, yeah, I like chess, and I was looking for some chess sets over the Christmas break here, and so I think I was searching for wood something or other, and this was one of the things that came up. So I clicked on it, and I was like, what is the purpose of these? It's this one in particular, but you can buy these in bulk, apparently. 2 olive wood holding crosses with a velvet bag and a certificate. So you get 2 holding crosses, 2 certificates of authenticity, and 2 velvet bags, handmade in Bethlehem, out of olive wood, certificate of origin included, beautiful olive wood grain in each cross. So apparently, it's just basically like a, what do you call it? I mean,
good luck charm.
Yeah, like a lucky rabbit's foot kind of thing. You hold it, and you can rub it and stuff.
Nice.
Like I was confused at first why it's a holding cross, but I guess just because you literally hold it.
Yeah.
But is there a cross that you don't hold? I guess one's on your necklace or something, right?
Well, or giant crosses that you nail people to.
Yeah. Well,
there's that.
Like someone complained because they got a sack of tiny crosses instead of, so you get a Ziploc bag with 25 crosses and a card with the Lord's Prayer. I only ordered 2 of these crosses, and the bag had no velvet pouch. So I think they sent her the wrong thing.
Oh, they are tiny, because I just Googled holding crosses, and it's like on eBay you could buy 500 small pocket holding crosses for $400.
Right? Yeah. So I guess if you don't want to carry around a bulky one but I think these are supposed to be like palm-sized grip on them, as opposed to the little tiny ones that are in bulk. But
bite
yeah,
size.
It's apparently a thing, and
I think you just kind of this place makes them in Texas supposedly.
Well, that is not
by way of Bethlehem, Texas.
Yeah, that is not the same thing. You can't get the full effect of the holding cross if it's not made in.
It's kind of like you hold it in the palm of your hand when you pray or something. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's a tchotchke. You know what I mean? Like it's just a thing.
Yeah. I found it amusing, and also pretty blatant superstition. There was somebody on there who said, well, my husband is a veteran, and it makes him feel peaceful when he holds it, or something like that. And it's, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to take away somebody's peaceful feeling, but at the same time,
go smoke a fucking joint.
Yeah, well. There might be other things that you can do too, but go to counseling, get involved in a community somewhere that's doing things or whatever.
Get a stress ball.
Yeah.
They should make stress crosses, stress holding crosses.
Do you think that they don't?
If they don't, you should copyright that shit.
Let's see.
That's weird. The stuff that maybe you were just looking up crosses, Gavagai. Is there something you're not telling us?
Yeah, no, I just came across that because it was wood.
By the way, I like your tab up top. It's all don't take the mark, and then the very next tab is sex and Satanism. So I don't know what you look at.
No, that was that William Tapley, the third Eagle guy. He was that video is Sex and Satanism in the Denver airport murals. And yeah, he goes through all of the murals and tells you where all of the penises are, the hidden penises.
Yes.
There's a search for penises. Yeah,
Yes.
and I posted in the chat over here also a video that's titled "Is Godzilla the Antichrist?" and all of his stuff is straight faced and dead serious. He is.
Well, I'll tell you, the Godzilla from that 1998 movie with Matthew Broderick, that movie was the Antichrist because it was horrible. But so we're almost finished up here because I heard there was some sort of football game going on.
Yeah.
But do you guys want to touch them on the exorcism thing right quick?
Yeah. Speaking of
devils and other bullshit, let me see here. See what I got. This plays like shit, so I'll try to get to the good stuff. I'll skip past it. So this is a guy named Bob Larson who's supposedly an exorcist, and he was actually the subject of a Vice special. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Vice, the TV show on HBO, where he traveled overseas with his 3 hot daughters, and like they do exorcisms. This is a video, and I think it's from their own video thing. But
is it your opinion that the daughters are hot, or are they presented that way?
Subjectively true.
They're kind of hot
and special. I'm only seeing Gavagai.
Ah, damn it! What?
White box yourself.
I did. Is it still bad?
There's no audio coming through. But
how are you laughing? There's no audio.
Because it's still funny, even though. Yeah, so that's another possible use for those holding crosses. Although I don't know if the wood ones would work the same way as that pewter one or whatever.
That's great.
Oh, look at that. You gotta wonder what these people are actually like thinking, or are they?
I like their faces.
Are they psychologically like messed up?
The guys that
are more than just the religion.
I think it's they're part of a show. The same way that if you go see a hypnotist or whatever, and they bring people up on stage, those people will do what they think they're supposed to do. And so that's what these people are doing.
Yeah, if you could bring up the video, it's better because that one fat guy, he's like with his arms all twisted. He's all, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Like he's speaking in like this high pitched voice. It's so awesome.
Yeah, but I like that whoever actually posted that video took it and turned it into Tim and Eric's sketch. Basically, it's pretty funny because I'm sure the original video was not edited that way.
No, that guy definitely took some liberties.
Well, the colors and the music in the background is kind of happy.
Yeah, so like,
I do too. It cuts to like, I don't know if it's one of the guys like who's holding their arm or just somebody in the background. And there's this especially I think when it's at first the woman.
Yeah.
It cuts to this guy and he just looks like he's uncomfortable with the whole situation. Like he looks embarrassed.
The hell you say? There's one scene where actually the guy in the back, when the fat guy was going nuts, that he was trying not to laugh. Like he looks away, like he looks down because he almost like started laughing.
Yeah, it's probably the same guy I'm thinking of.
I'm like, come on, man. I was trying to look for something, but oh well. So, Bob Larson and his hot daughters. Hold on a second. Before I say, let me look. I don't want to like. I hope they're over 18 because then it would be creepy. But
we'll keep our fingers crossed for you, heathen.
Hold on, they're attractive. I'll just say that. Hold on, let me screenshot this. It's not bad. That tall one is pretty hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope they're over 18 as well.
Right. That's what I.
Yeah, I'm not sure the one on the far left makes the cut to legal age.
Now
there
he's
either.
training them. I've seen this special, and so he's training them to be exorcists. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I want like I think part of the selling point may necessarily not be the exorcism, but you know he was also on Anderson Cooper live,
Yeah.
which is a TV show, and that guy just took no prisoners. He's like, isn't just this sort of like a sideshow carnival barker type thing? And he had like an actual priest on from the Catholic Church who's kind of like laughing at them too. He's like, yeah, you know, we talk about exorcisms from time to time, you know, because obviously he has to, he believes it's a thing, but he goes, it's never like this, you know, with like cameras and like the people acting like, you know, and it's kind of funny, but
I do like that you called him, this other guy, an actual priest, because he actually does real magic things.
Yes,
unlike this guy who's faking.
In relation to the other, yes, I'm just saying he's actually affiliated with the Catholic Church. That's my context.
Fair enough.
Versus this guy who I don't know him from a fucking hole in the wall, but like apparently he's like a pastor in some small church, you know, and he got famous by sort of just doing these exorcisms,
goofy shit.
Right, and it's like it's either if they are possessed, they're possessed by the goofiest demons of all time. You know what I mean? Like they don't, you know, it's just it's comical. Like I don't even get it. I mean, if you're possessing like the fat middle-aged woman, you know, like wouldn't you want like a better host if you're going to possess somebody, or is it just like the person you think is the least dangerous? So you would never think she was possessed because she's like a happy mother of four making apple pies and shit.
So do you know so he's going from like town to town, I'm assuming?
Yeah, he travels. The Vice, if you get a chance to watch the Vice special, or I think it was Vice, he's like overseas in like Europe or something, I think. And it shows him like traveling around doing exorcisms.
So do people like go to his performances like thinking, okay, I am gonna bring my demon possessed person, or are all the people going there thinking they're normal people, and then he calls up a couple people and then they turn out to surprisingly be demon possessed?
You know, I fucking don't know that much about the guy, but
all right.
Well, so if you go to his webpage, here it is. It says, "Oh, this is fucking great."
I guess just real quick, because my thought is like if you brought him to, even if it was a bunch of religious people, you know, Christians, like who had never seen him do it before, like I would be very surprised if when he brought up a person to be exorcised, if they behaved similarly to the way the people who in this video are behaving.
See, he has all his exorcism videos posted on YouTube. I like how it's like, Bob Larson is the world's foremost expert on cults, the occult, and supernatural phenomenon. And his picture, it makes me think of like those old 50s movies, like the Dracula movies where like the guy comes in, he's like, "Dracul, I found you." Like he's Van Helsing, you know, like holding up a cross.
Yeah.
The International School of Exorcism. Special tuition pricing. You think if you think if you had the power to like destroy demons, it should be, and it's your life's work, you wouldn't charge for it if you were some sort of warrior for God.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like the Joker said, if you're good at something, never do it for free, or whatever his quote.
Well, if he wants to, that's true. But if he wants to be the Joker, then look at got demons. Take the demon test to find out. Oh, I'm so doing this after the show's over.
We should all do that.
You know it's legit when he's got a little clickbait web ad on the side of it. You know it's legit.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say I probably have some demons, and I should probably buy his book. That's where I think it's gonna end up.
Like how could you take that seriously? Like it's so goofy. Like the exclamation point at the end of "to find out" just screams cheesy. like screams illegitimate.
21 demon test questions. Dude, we should all take this and have our results on the next show.
Link us in the thing.
It's boblarson.com.
I can't.
www.demontest.com.
Demontest.com. I can't remember that. Link us in the group.
What the fucking
And everybody who's watching, take the test too.
I would love for a bunch of
If
people
there's
to take the test.
anyone in the community who can take the test and come out with a negative result.
Who's our what do you need in a test? You need when you're doing a scientific test, person
A
who's
control and a variable?
yes, control. Thank you. How would we do a control? Oh, wait a minute. $9.95
For the answer?
No, I just click in the links and it takes me to hold on a second. Maybe
No, yeah, you clicked on the wrong thing, I think.
I'm literally on the page that says demontest.com.
Start the test.
Okay, and then click here to take the demon test.
Start the test and then
Demon test $9.95.
What?
click here to take the I don't have that.
Oh,
Oh yeah, $9.95. This guy's a fucking shyster.
that's supposed to come at the end of the test.
I know. I want to
For the-
at least see the fucking questions.
Yeah, but there's a phone number. There's an 800 number. Let's see. Oh no, it's 303. It's not even an 800 number. They can't even call toll free.
I wonder if I could find it online.
I like that. I got the button on here so I can load up myself with demon tests so I can get up to. I got 10, 11. Yeah, just keep on adding them to the cart because you know one is definitely not enough.
What
Okay,
are the signs?
so-
Hold on now there's I've clicked on just a Google search, do I have a demon? And there's ministeringdeliverance.com. What are the signs of having a demon? Now this is a whole nother subject. We're gonna have to do this next time.
Okay, so I went to there's an article by a guy from Vice magazine that says I was tested for demonic possession, and it says demonic possessions are like a lot like high blood pressure or AIDS. You don't know your status until you get tested.
Oh,
Talk about some fucking fear mongering, dude. But yeah, we can fucking do this next time for sure. But it goes into his article about he took the test, so and we can see what he got and see how it plays out. Maybe I could find it somewhere, like somebody reposted it or took screenshots or something. But that is some fascinating shit.
I am tempted to buy one of these demon tests.
I would pitch in for that.
I would see. We do need a Patreon. We need a Patreon to fund like these bullshit tests we got to take.
I'm curious, like how, like what would prevent me from just administering this test to you guys for free? Like, I don't know.
Because you don't know how to score it.
That's right.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe I can
questions.
only go through it once. Maybe that's the trick. Because otherwise, I could just go through it a bunch of times and.
What you can?
What if it's like essay? Like, what if I
No, you can't.
I have to turn it in?
Only a
It can't
demon
be-
would write that.
You know, it's funny because no one's reviewing it, right? It's like it's this automated like algorithm that just like those.
You don't know. We don't know what it is yet.
Right.
I bet you it's like those things that people post on Facebook where it's like,
Oh, it totally is. It totally.
Are you-
Which Game
how
of Thrones
sexy are you?
character are you?
Is your boyfriend
I'm
cheating on you?
I'm 40% sexy, I'm 60% fun, and that kind of thing.
I'm 20% demon possessed.
Which Harry Potter character are you?
Yeah, I hate those things. And you know what sucks is like all of them are from girls on my Facebook page. You know what I mean? Like it's only girls that do it, and they do them all. Like I don't even I've seen that one guy do it.
I've done it.
Well, that explains a lot. But
You were the one guy.
you're the one guy. But this thing is my guess is that it's going to ask questions like do you fornicate, or do you feel urges, or you know what I mean, like something all human, because it has to force you into a box where you have to have
Right.
demons. You know what I mean?
Do you sometimes snack before dinner, like that kind of stuff?
That other test that I pulled up, it wasn't test. It was just signs that that you're demon possessed, and it included things like, do you have occult powers? So, like, I guess if you can,
yes,
start fires with your mind, that's a sign.
It says
some of the other things were, you know, like if you have fear or depression. So and one of the sad things about this whole industry there is that there's probably people out there with legitimate real world problems that need actual help from professionals who are not, you know, invoking supernatural entities when they're trying to address the problems. And so that's the big, you know, the big thing about it that's really bad.
So this is awesome. So from his webpage, this past year has been one of great blessing. God has given me the strength to do what most would find exhausting. Only by his grace have I been able to, and it's all these bullet points, hold 60 seminars worldwide, train 1,000 Bible college students in Ukraine to do deliverance, author our 35th book, Dealing with Demons, teach 1,000 plus future pastors to minister exorcisms and inner healing, write my 36th book, Set Your Family Free, publish 52 blogs, grow our YouTube audience from 7 million to 9 million, and spend more than 150 days in personal one-on-one encounters. And here's the best part. So as you scroll down, it's like, do what Jesus did, Pastor Bob Larson. Even if I grant that Jesus was around and, you know, doing stuff, I believe he wasn't charging everybody out the ass for stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't heal the blind guy and go, that's $9.95. Suggested donation, $100.
Here's my Patreon account.
Yeah, can you imagine if somebody actually went around as a healer and was like, well, maybe you didn't really appreciate the site that I gave you. I can take that back, or maybe it's worth something to you. You know, how much is it worth to keep that? If if you could actually legitimately heal people and then, like, hold it over them. I can put this demon back in you if you want that.
It's like blackmailing people.
Yeah.
It says, note, if you would like to sign up to be a regular monthly partner, you may also do so directly at PayPal by clicking here.
Nice.
Partners who give $20 a month or more will receive a new DVD every month as a way of saying thank you for partnering with our ministry. $20 for a fucking DVD. Are you kidding me right now? I mean,
so I'm assuming you didn't put in $100 in that box. That's just the default suggested donation.
There you go. PayPal, get 6 months. That's an advert. It's got, wow, this guy is a shyster and a half, dude.
Here's a test for you guys. So I did a Google, and no cheating here. I did a Google image search of Bob Larson. Out of the first 20 pictures, how many do you think had Bob Larson holding that magic cross?
All of them. Every single one.
Have a guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Heathen's estimate there.
You guys are wrong. Only 50%.
Oh, really?
Oh.
50%. Well, because there's also some pictures of him, like, holding a Bible on some guy's head, and one picture of Anderson Cooper. So
look at this. He looks like a superhero. Like this, it looks like something you would see on a 1980s, like, he's a vigilante priest. Wow. Amy suffered from a 10-generation curse going back to a Scottish ancestor. Are we looking at the same people? Wow, this is fucking. We can do a whole show on this guy. Doesn't he look like the starship captain from Star Trek in this, with the fucking V and the red? All right, I'm a nerd. Shut up.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's true too. But I'm gonna jump back a second here and advise our viewers not to take the demon test. Do not pay $9.95.
Don't contribute to this.
We might. I might, but you should not.
If you had a PayPal, I would send you the $3.30-something to as a contribution.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe we need a Patreon. Maybe we'll get like $10 one day and we can split it. You know, and it'll all be from one person. It'll be great. So, but anyway, I think that's a good place to stop because we would go on with this guy for like easily till 2.
Yeah.
But that seems like an awesome topic for next time. And silence.
Yep. It's an awesome topic.
I thought you were gonna end it right there. Signing off.
Cue the music.
Yes. Cue the music. I would love music actually. I only got these sound effects.
Perfect.
And if we start a Patreon, we can.
Yeah.
I got everything. So, all right, guys, this looks like where we're gonna end it. Thanks everyone for showing up and staying to watch us into our second hour. And hope everyone has a good weekend. Drink, fuck, and be merry, and all that good stuff. I'll see you later.